I know, Miss Bella, this is your 22nd marriage proposal. And I also know that, just like every time, you've turned this one down too. But the reason you keep rejecting these proposals is unknown to me. That's why I've forced you to come here, to find out. Idris said all this in one breath, frowning and looking questioningly at Bella. Bella seemed very uncomfortable with his question. It was quite evident from her body language. Yet, he continued to stare at her with a questioning and rather angry look. This time, Bella shifted in her seat. She glanced around and looked helplessly out the window before replying in a serious tone. Look, I am not obliged to answer your question. Besides, what kind of man are you, who, after being rejected by me regarding marriage, shamelessly wants to meet me again? Please do not talk about this marriage anymore. I cannot marry you. Saying this, Bella stood up to leave. Immediately, Leo shouted angrily, "Don't forget, Miss Bella, your father works under me in my office, so think twice before speaking to me like this. With just one gesture, I can ruin your entire family." Bella became very uncomfortable this time. She didn't know what to do, so she kept looking out the window silently. She had no words. Her eyes were brimming with tears, as if it would rain any moment. Noticing this, Leo tried to calm himself as much as possible. Then, clearing his throat, he started speaking again in a calm voice. "Sorry, I shouldn't have spoken like that. Actually, I can't control my anger." He paused for a moment. Then, taking a breath, he started speaking again. "Anyway, I just want to know one thing from you. Why did you reject this marriage proposal?" In response to his question, Bella sighed deeply. Then, looking away from the window and downwards, she said in a calm voice, "Please forgive me. I know you can take away my father's job if you want. You can ruin my family. But still, this marriage is not possible for me. You will find many girls more beautiful and better than me to marry. So please don't ask me any more questions about this. I cannot marry you." Saying this, she looked out the window again. Leo got very angry hearing her dismissive words. His head seemed to explode with rage. This was the first time he had proposed to someone, and that too voluntarily. And this girl was rejecting him in one word. It seemed unacceptable. So, standing up, he shouted, "Where did you get the audacity to reject me? Don't you know I can cause great harm to your family if I want? But I won't do that. I'm giving you today to think about it. By tomorrow, you will tell me why you are not agreeing to the marriage. If you find a proper reason, I will not marry you myself. So think carefully before answering."
Before leaving,
Bella
she looked back at the
Leo's
window
roar.
with fearful eyes
trembling
and
hands,
left
she
with
took her
teary
bag and
eyes.
stood up.
As soon as Bella left, Leo
Then,
went
with
to
her
the
head
window
down,
and
she
looked
walked out the
outside.
door in
He
front
saw a
of him.
large jet-black crow flying away from a tree outside the window. Ignoring it, he started to fume with rage. For the first time in his life, he had liked someone. That's why he voluntarily proposed marriage. And she rejected him to his face. It seemed utterly unacceptable to him. He couldn't believe any girl could reject him. There must be some other reason behind this. He had to find out that reason. Returning home from Leo's place, Bella's father, Harry, stopped her at the door. Standing there, he asked in a serious tone, "What decision did you make, Bella? Did you agree to this marriage?" Hearing her father's stern words made Bella feel like crying, but she controlled herself and entered the house, bypassing her father. But it didn't help. Harry called her back and asked again, "I never imagined you would become so rude and disrespectful day by day, Bella. How dare you ignore your father's words and go to your room like this? Today, you will answer all my questions before going inside. Otherwise, you have no place in this house." His words made Bella's heart tremble. She turned around, sat on the floor, and started crying uncontrollably. Seeing her sudden behavior, Harry's heart trembled. He had never thought his daughter would do such a thing. He hurriedly approached her, placed his hand on her cheek, and asked in a loving voice, "Why are you crying like this, Bella? Tell me what happened to you. Why do you keep rejecting every marriage proposal? I can't accept the reason for rejecting a boy like Leo. I am not happy talking to you like this. Tell me everything. Do you love someone else?" Hearing this, Bella looked at him with teary eyes. Then, crying, she said in a helpless voice, "Please don't say that, Dad. You never taught me to get involved in an illegal relationship or engage in a romantic relationship in the name of love. I don't love anyone, Dad, but still, I can't get married. If I get married, everything will be destroyed. He will destroy everything, Dad. He won't let anyone live." Hearing this, Bella broke down in tears. Harry was shocked to hear such words from his daughter. He couldn't understand who she was talking about. So he asked her excitedly, "Who are you talking about, Bella? Who will destroy everything? Tell me his name once. I will find out who dares to scare my daughter. Who is that bad person?" Just as Tanisha was about to answer, she looked at the door. Seeing something, she quickly wiped her eyes, stood up, and began to speak in a serious tone. "I can't tell you anything, Dad. Just remember one thing. Don't try to get me married anywhere. I cannot marry anyone. I will live like this all my life. If you can't take care of me, then tell me. I will manage on my own. But please, don't try to get me married anywhere." Saying this, she quickly went to her room and locked the door. Her words and behavior left Harry stunned. He couldn't understand the reason behind his daughter's sudden change of heart. He thought maybe she was pretending not to marry. But his daughter wasn't like that. He knew his daughter very well. He had raised her himself since her mother died when she was a child. She never disobeyed her father. Her father was her closest friend. There was nothing she didn't share with him. So, why this sudden change? Thinking about it, Harry's heart trembled with unknown fear. He couldn't figure out what to do or say. His only daughter's condition was eating him up from the inside. Locking the door of her room, Bella threw her burqa on the sofa. Then, lying face down on the bed, she started crying. She couldn't convey her thoughts to anyone. She had hidden so much pain and suffering in her heart. She couldn't explain it to anyone and couldn't bear it. She never imagined her happy life would suddenly be ruined like this. Speaking like that to her father, against his wishes, made her heart tremble. She felt like ending her life repeatedly. She had fallen in love with someone 2 years ago at first sight. She had dreamed of building a home with him. Rejecting his marriage proposal made her cry repeatedly, but she couldn't explain it to anyone. Suddenly, in the closed room, a loud laughter broke her concentration. She sat up in fear. Looking around the room, she saw it was filled with black smoke. It was as if a plastic tire was burning in the middle of the room. The darkness was overwhelming. The intense smell was making Bella nauseous. She realized what was about to happen to her. Her heart was pounding with fear. She tried to recite prayers, but the fear made her forget them. The smoke thickened over time. The loud laughter became louder. It was so loud that Bella felt her ears would burst. She tried to scream, but no sound came out of her mouth. She had become mute. She couldn't think of what to do, so she quickly pulled the blanket over herself to calm her fear. Suddenly, the laughter stopped. The smoke swirled and formed a human-like figure. The figure looked like a human but had 2 huge horns on its head. It also had a long tail with thorns at the end. The figure was just a black shadow, not entirely human. But its eyes were glowing like fire. It had a mouth full of sharp teeth. Its appearance was extremely terrifying. Anyone who saw it suddenly would probably die of fright. The figure slowly approached Bella. Her throat dried up with fear. She backed away as much as possible and pressed herself against the bed. Seeing her scared, the figure laughed again. After laughing for a while, it stood about 2 feet away from Bella and spoke in a harsh voice. "You did well. Keep breaking all marriage proposals like this. Don't marry anyone. Remember, you are only mine. I have the right over everything you have. If you think of anyone else, I will kill him as well as your father. And you cannot imagine what will happen to you. So follow my words for your own good along with everyone. I will take you with me very soon. Never bring it back to Earth. Just waiting for time. And I will see that boy. How dare he call you again even after you did not talk about marriage? I will finish him tonight." After saying the words, the figure disappeared into the air, laughing softly. Bella cowered in fear hearing the figure. But this fear is not for himself, but for Idris. But will the devil kill Idris like the other 2? Bella felt a chill running down her spine as she thought about it. Bella cowered in fear hearing the figure. But this fear is not for himself, but for Leo. But will the devil kill Leo like the other 2? Bella felt a chill running down her spine as she thought about it. Without thinking, he quickly got down from the bed and decided in his heart that he would go to Leo. Bella can't push him to death like the other 2. Thinking of the words, quickly opened the door and came out. then ran towards the main door of the house. But as he approached the door, he noticed that it was installed from outside. Harry locked the door from outside before going out. Harry was very tensed. He is going crazy thinking what to do now. He tried in vain to open the door and ran back to his room. He took the bag from the sofa and took out his mobile phone and quickly called his father's number. But no, his father is not picking up the phone. Even after calling about 6 or 7 times in this way, there was no use. This time Bella was very broken. He has no idea what to do. Meanwhile, Idris's number is not known. Looking out the window, it was evening. He knows very well that the genie will try to kill Leo later in the evening. But Bella can't accept it at all. He will save Leo anyway. Even if you lose your life, you will. So without thinking about anything else, she took a sari from the closet and quickly ran to the roof. He tied the sari well to the roof railing and prepared to go down by holding it. But when one leg went down, holding the sari, Bella suddenly dropped her hand and fell down. He thought that the time of his death was near. He may not survive, because there is a very large star attached to the wall just below where he is falling. If you wear it, you will die immediately. Bella closed her eyes for fear of death. But after a while, he felt like he was floating on air. Slowly opening his eyes, he looked around and saw that he was floating in the air, just 1 foot above the star. Seeing this, Bella swallowed dry food in fear. A moment later, a loud roar was heard from the vicinity. Bella closed her eyes in fear again. He knows what is going to happen to him this time. In addition to hearing a roar, he noticed that he was being lifted up into the air. He opened his eyes again and looked around. Saw him floating back to the roof. As he stood up straight after climbing onto the roof, the terrifying figure appeared in front of him and said with a sigh, "How dare you try to kill yourself? Have you forgotten what I told you? Do you want me to kill your father?" Bella was shaken by Jin's anger. He took 2 steps back and closed his eyes, trying to calm himself. He should not be afraid at this moment. And besides, he was happy to think of one thing. That is, the Jinn did not understand why he wanted to get down from here like this. Instead, Jin thought he was trying to commit suicide. So, trying to suppress his fear as much as possible, he said in a trembling voice, "You misunderstand. I wasn't trying to commit suicide. In fact, Father forgot to lock the door from outside when he went out. I'm very hungry, and there's no food at home, so I was trying to get down here to get food. Nothing else, and I slipped my hand while going down." Saying the words, Bella swallowed dryly. He doesn't know if the Jinn will accept his argument, so he stood quietly with his head down. Hearing his words, the Jinn remained silent for a while. Then he thought of something and said in a calm voice, "You're hungry. Why didn't you call me? Tell me, what are you eating?" Bella can't think of what to eat after listening to Jin. So Chat quickly said, "I want to eat sweets. I really want to eat sweets." Hearing his words, the figure started laughing. Then he stopped laughing and said in a serious voice, "Sweets are my favorite too. I'll bring you sweets right away." Saying this, the Jinn disappeared. Within 5 minutes, he returned with a large kasar dish full of sweets. Seeing that, Bella's eyes widened. At the moment, I don't know why he is not afraid of Jin's activities. Bella gathered courage and took the plate. Then he swallowed the dry mouth and said in a hoarse voice, "You will never do me any harm, will you? Then I have a request of you. Please do not kill Leo, sir. I will not marry him, and he will not ask me to marry him a second time. Just please you. Please don't kill me. You have killed 2 people before. I don't want anyone else's life to end for me." After listening to his words, the Jinn kept silent for a while and thought about something. Then he said in a serious voice, "Well, okay, I won't kill anyone, but I have one condition." "A what condition?" "From today, you will not recite any prayers. You will not pray. You will walk naked, and you will burn the amulet that was blocking your body. If you can do these things, I will not kill that Leo." Bella was shocked by the condition of Xena. However, he understands very well that the Jinn cannot come to him because of praying properly, only threatens him from a distance. If this is indeed the case, then this condition can never be accepted. If this condition is accepted, the Jinn can do more harm than that. But if you don't accept his word now, if he kills Leo? Bella was torn between what to do and what to say. Now his heart began to tremble with the fear of the jinn. At that time, the jinn once again let out a sigh and said, "What happened? Tell me you agree to my terms, or will I immediately go and kill that Leo?" Before Bella was about to say anything to Jinn, she heard the sound of someone coming up the stairs to the roof. Immediately, the genie disappeared. Bella looked towards the stairs and saw Harry coming. Seeing him, Bella breathed a sigh of relief. For a while, he was caught by the jinn. Harry climbed up to the roof and looked at Bella with raised eyebrows. He was quite surprised to see the plate of sweets in his hand. Harry hurriedly approached her daughter and excitedly asked, "Bella, where did you get this plate of sweets? And where did you get so many sweets from?" Bella was quite shocked to see him asking such excited questions. He doesn't know what to say. This time it has been caught by the father. How will you get over it from your father now? Harry stopped Bella before she could open her mouth to say something. "Bella, don't try to tell any lies. Tell the truth where you got this plate of sweets from. And who were you standing here talking to?" Bella was very nervous in response to his words. Forsley tried to smile and looked down in a slightly frightened voice and said, "Actually, Father, you locked the door from the outside when you left. So I came to the roof to see the flowers and plants, and then I saw this plate of sweets. Then I thought you might have forgotten it. So I was taking them, and you came." Saying the words in one breath, Bella looked back at Harry. But the father's eyes did not seem to believe the words at all. Bella looked at her father's eyes for a blink and lowered her eyes again. In response to her words, Harry was silent for a while and looked at her with a sharp look. Then he started looking around for something. After a while, he took her hand and said in a serious voice, "Don't stand on the roof for a moment more. Come down with me. I have a word with you, and this plate of sweets will be left here. Be careful, we'll not forget to give a single sweet from here." Saying this, Harry came down with Bella and left the plate of sweets on the roof. When he came, he locked the roof door very well. I know why Bella feels that her father is very afraid of her father's words and actions. His hands and feet are shaking with fear. But still Bella did not ask any questions. Straight down with Dad. Harry went to his room with Bella. Asking her to sit on the bed, he himself sat facing Bella. He looked at the girl's face for a while. Bella could not look into her father's eyes. So he looked down and sat in silence. After some time had passed like this, Harry opened his mouth. He asked in a serious voice, "I know very well, Bella, you can never lie when you look me in the eye. And I know all the lies you said on the roof. Tell the truth where that plate of sweets came from, and whose are you all this time? Talk to me. Don't hide anything from me. If you want me and you, tell me everything." Saying the words, Harry looked at Bella with terrified eyes. Bella can never lie by looking into his eyes, and if he tells the truth to him, the jinn says he will finish him immediately. His nose and mouth will bleed and die, so he can't even tell the truth. Bella was very uncomfortable now. At the end, seeing no alternative, he started to cry. Harry's heart could not be melted by her cry. He said angrily in a more serious tone than before, "Bella, crying like this will do no good. Tell me all the truth. Don't hide anything. Your life can be ruined because of one small wrong decision. If something happens to you, you can tell me what I will live with. After your mother died when you were a child, I didn't marry anyone else if my stepmother came. I don't want anything to happen in your life like your mother. I can't be patient anymore." Now how can he not tell the truth to his father? Bella understands very well that the road to lying is now closed for her, but if told that his father's nose and mouth blood will die, then he will never be able to forgive himself. Suddenly, Bella noticed the smoke figure standing behind her father. He is hissing like a snake in anger. Fear gripped Bella's heart. His head began to spin. His whole body began to sweat. She screamed, "Daddy," and fainted.